Okay, so then we've been talking to ChatGPT as a
Sure.
sex
Yep.
therapist-ish, a very, very poor version of you for a year-ish or so.
Yep.
I mean, where do you think this is going to take us in your
Yep.
most optimistic view? But
Yeah.
because it's if at your root you, and this is part of why I really was excited to meet you because of your study of sexual shame, which I believe is at the root of so many things.
I think so too.
So with technology
Yep.
as a tool for
Yep.
us, yeah, how do you see this helping?
Like I said, I was joking when I said garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
But what that effectively means is the technology today will bring you what you want it to. So if you go into the technology and say, fuck this shit and I hate women and I want a robot that I can beat and do whatever, 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 totally fine. Very hard to track that down, very hard to have consequences for that kind of behavior, very hard to understand if somebody that is going to be violent or abusive towards a digital entity is going to be more or less violent in real life. This is taking us into philosophical and
Yeah.
ethical into a whole other realm that is a different conversation. So this technology is going to make room for whatever we want. If we want to be more self-aware, if we want to be more connected, hell, if we want more pleasure, there are tools that you can literally stick into any orifice that will help you learn more about your pleasure. That's great. That's a pro-social use as far as I'm concerned. One of the things you mentioned earlier about data privacy, I think you're right. I think everybody has to just recognize that anything you put into these systems, anything that is connected to the internet, this is no longer your domain. The data is going to be used. The thing to be cognizant of in a relational tech component is how that company makes money. So one of the words that you'll hear often is gamification.
Yeah.
So there are certain sites that will give you points, and they will give you more points for interacting, and they will give you more points for paying more and staying on longer, right? So the companies are motivated in a very different way. They're not motivated to send you back in the world and form deeper connections. They're motivated to keep you on the site, to upsell you to something more um, immersive.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful about stuff like that.
I think that's important to just recognize because part of what we're trying to do on the show is just bring some kind of awareness, some
Yeah.
kind of critical thinking,
Yes.
because it's really hard to do in these moments where we have pain, we want to feel good, here's a solution. And we're not saying it's not a viable solution, but
Yeah.
just to be aware. I've heard a lot of people talk recently about specifically on like a dating app,
Yeah.
how they're so frustrated with dating apps because you're sort of blocked out of a certain category of connection if you're not paying, if you're not. So
Exactly.
to exactly what you're saying, and you're getting
Yeah.
sucked in, which is, I mean, I don't want to say predatory. However,
Yeah.
however, in the regulation around these kinds of things,
Yeah.
I mean, ChatGPT, people are talking to it for 16 hours a day.
Spending money.
It's highly, and then spending money, which again isn't wrong. It's just this is such a new moment.
Yeah.
But you're suggesting to experiment. You are suggesting that, but not as a replacement.
No, I think as a complement
Yeah.
with an E, I think it's a really great tool. I think we have to remember that these technologies, they should not be driving your bus. So just remember that these are tools, these are ways to get to an end, the end being you,
Yeah.
your self-awareness, your self-love, your goals for you, whether you want to get married, you want to have kids, you don't want to, they can certainly help you work through those things. But these systems, again, these tools they can be biased. They're not foolproof. I'll give you an example, right? Again, and this is where the media is also culpable. About a year ago, oh, ChatGPT told somebody to divorce his wife, so now he's filing for divorce. What an idiot! Why, what an idiot! Why would you do that?
I mean, it sounds like
Right?
he wanted
That's
to
the
divorce his
question.
wife.
Like,
It's
so,
basically what he told ChatGPT, and
so
they
what
said
we
do
are
it.
talking about, and what you and I have come across now many times, is the idea of personal responsibility, right? Personal accountability,
Yeah.
personal awareness. To me, that's the spirituality piece. This is not about going into the mountains and, like in my culture and forsaking everything. It's really about coming home to your own anchor, the kind of self love that is so bold and so courageous and has such audacity that the next tech wave is not going to throw you off. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. I think that if I had not been on my own personal journey,
Yeah,
gone to my own mountain and done some forsaking,
exactly.
that this moment of tech would be a very scary moment for
Absolutely.
me. It's like there's a great awakening in humanity to say, OMG,
Yeah,
what is going on here
yeah,
a bit? And I'm like, oh, I've always kind of been this
yeah,
existential. And so I'm navigating it with awareness of self
yeah,
is a gift, because
yeah,
I think if not for that,
yeah.
you really are kind of fucked in this moment.